give it a few. There we go, baby. Woohoo! Alright, so, as a lot of you guys know, that 1.8.3 has dropped literally a few days ago. I was unaware of the update until I started playing it. At first I was wondering why, the Division needed an update, and I was like, okay, whatever, and then I go to play it, and I'm with some of my friends, and I'm wondering, wait, why is my striker not doing so much damage? Comes to find out that they nerfed it to Oblivion. That I wouldn't. That's an overstatement, but yeah, they pretty much kind of nerfed striker. So here's the patch notes and whatnot. The EMP stacks now pauses stacks accumulation and bonus healing are not applied. Existing stacks are lost with time and by missing shots, which should have always been like that. Classified bonus heal rate is reduced and shots landed only add 1 stack to each bonus in playing. See, that's stupid because instead of reducing the healing rate instead of reducing the healing rate, what they should have done was reduce the stack number to, like, let's say 40 or 50. I'll get more in depth with that after, but for right now I just want to go over it real quick. Skills, when you drop your support box, now it now scales to depending how long you've been into it. So like if you just drop it and you pop it as soon as you drop it, pretty much you don't get a lot of whatchamacall of you don't get a lot of things. You don't get a lot of health now. And they fixed an issue where it causes player to appear running in place when using a skill under certain circumstances. Expansion stash is now available for all players. Accommodations, Rainbow Six accommodation required, now red. Equip 6 different quality pieces of gear: gray, exotic, blue, purple, orange gear set. I think I've already had that already. Yeah. So let's go to the striker thing. Actually, let's save the striker one for last. Because I have a whole big deal about strikers because I love using striker. But let's go away from the striker topic for now. The support healing station, the one where you pop it, where it gives you a burst, kind of like a high burst heal. I actually don't mind that one because I felt as if giving players not such a high burst heal is something that would pretty much kind of balance it out to where it requires us to use a med kit and our first aid. But again, my biggest problem still is the dang healings, because they haven't even done anything to it. They're making a step towards the right direction in terms of the healing, but they still need to fix the healing lag, because I can't tell you how much times I lost gunfights because of the laggy heals and whatnot. And you guys watch my live streams, you guys watch how I complain about the dang healings, and it's something that they really need to fix. Like, it baffles my mind how long they've been going on with this game and they still haven't fixed the simplest things. Like, to me, honestly, like if they fix the simplest things in the game like that, I think the game would bring in even more people, and it would give them a higher budget towards the Division 2, which would pretty much give us better stuff to bring in, and whatnot. Gameplay wise, I have never experienced any type of running in place. None of my friends have ever told me about that. Expansion stats now available for all players. I should have known that before. They could have done that before I bought the Last Stand DLC. Yeah. Without further ado, now let's get to the striker part. Man, where do I begin with the striker? 1.8, man. let's go back. Let's go back all the way to 1.8. I can't do that. Never mind. But yeah, 1.8 before 1.8.1 came out. 1.8 Striker pretty much was what everybody wanted to get because everybody knew that Striker was gonna just melt face, and it did for a long time. But the thing about Striker is that everybody complains that, oh, it's easy to get stacks. Oh, you just have to use a shotgun and all that stuff. And oh, you just have to use a shock turret and a shotgun and you'll get 100 stacks like nothing. And while that is true, that's true. There's a lot of people that run it that way. But to me, and I can tell you right now, the other division community agrees with this as well, is that it doesn't take much skill to use a shotgun, and it doesn't take a lot of skill to use a shock turret. So in terms, if you're using a shotgun and a shock turret, or you're using both to get your stacks up, then it's obvious that you either don't know how to play the game, or you just don't know how to play the game. Simple as that. Or you're just following trends that you see on YouTube. So yeah, that's my bit on that part. If you guys don't like it, then that's too damn bad. I don't care. That's just a straight up truth. Just like same thing with Predator. Whoever uses Predator, if you have to rely on a shock turret to put someone on bleed, then it's obvious that you are not as good of a player as you think you are using the shock turret. Yeah, sure, it's in the game, but then if you're going to use a shock turret, then that pretty much defeats the whole purpose of actual skill in the game. And there's going to be a lot of people mad about this, but I personally don't give a damn. I really don't care. That's just my opinion. You guys can take it how you want it. I don't really care if you guys like it or not. If you guys don't like it, but yeah, back to the Striker thing. To me personally, as a committed and religious Striker user, I'm personally really upset about using this. I mean, everybody knows that I also run hybrid builds like 5-piece Banshee with Barrett's chest piece, and 9K Firearms Predator, 9K Firearms Nomad, Reclaimer, 2-piece Pred, 2-piece Banshee with Savage Gloves, and a Ninja Bike. Everybody knows that I also love to run hybrid builds too, whenever I feel like it. But my go-to build is, above all the other builds, is Striker. And to me, Striker, it does take skill. It really does take skill to use Striker. Everybody thinks that, it doesn't take a lot of skill. It actually does, and it's for the people who have really good aim, that can really put this gear into that can really make the gear effective. Like for me, I have potato aim, so I can't really use the build to its full potential until I get my aim straight. But for other people, who have really good aim, they don't have to worry because they have that good aim. And with Striker, you need to have good aim in order to, dominate. I can tell you this right now that I don't have the best of aim, and I've noticed that a lot of people have used shotguns to get their stacks up, and believe me, I've done it myself using the Showstopper to build up stacks, but it's not me. I personally don't believe in the easy way to get a kill. Everybody knows that I don't mind struggling for the kill. What else? But yeah, I'm personally upset with it. The patch that they did is honestly stupid. That what they done to Striker. To me, honestly, they shouldn't have done that. What they should have done is that they should have just left Striker the way it is, but instead of reducing the heal rate, because you're still gonna have 100 stacks no matter what. Instead of reducing the heal rate, why not you just reduce the number of stacks you get, like let's say to 50 stacks, 40 or 50 stacks. You'll still get a 50%. You'll still get a 50% more heals, more health. You'll get a 50% heal rate, but that's like what, to me, like that's fair enough. Cause that's like pretty much lowballing. Like, if you want, you can make it to where we only get 30 stacks like Tactician does. But I'm trying to be, fair to everybody, that likes to use Striker too. But and as well as the new people. But to me, I think that they stepped in the wrong direction with Striker. I'm personally upset with it because Striker, as you guys know, build. But I think what they should have done, instead of nerfing it to where it's pretty much a situational build, and it still performs great in PvE. I mean, I think what they should have done is that they should have, like I said, reduced the number of stacks we get to like 40 or 50, instead of just doing it to where it's a situational build. Now that's my Striker input. Um, as far as the other builds go, I can go on and on about every single build. For one, Pred, everybody keeps complaining about Pred. Pred is fine, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But I personally would recommend running 9K Firearms Pred. You'll see how fast you can melt people without having to rely on the bleed. Nomad, I personally don't care for Nomad either, so Nomad to me, Nomad still doesn't need a lot of work. I think what they did is okay with the group one. I think they did okay with the group one because, you're in a group and you shouldn't have all these lives and whatnot. Of course, if you go solo, that's a whole different story, but I think Nomad they did okay with in terms of patching, as well as Pred, because with Pred, you can just pop an immunizer and everything will be okay. What else? Banshee. Banshee, I think is okay for right now. There's a lot of there's like big YouTubers out there that are doing this. Big division YouTubers like Jasamian, Gourmet J, Cat, Example, Easy TV. I've watched all their videos about 1.8.3 and about Striker and about all this other stuff, and it's not common that this video that I'm gonna put out tomorrow is out, but this is just my opinion. To me, I think that, let's just say this update is, as what Gourmet J said, is unbalanced. But what I think what they should do is, rework Striker to where we only get 40-50 stacks instead of 100, because 100 is, everybody knows that it's OP. Predator's Mark and Nomad is okay. They do not need to touch it at all. People can complain about all they want about Predator and Nomad, but they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Banshee as well, Banshee, Nomad, and Predator, they don't need no rework, nothing. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. In terms of Alpha Bridge definitely needs to have at least a buff, a small buff, because it's really underwhelming. Alpha Bridge is really underwhelming, and thus it's become a underrated build. Now you can use it with you can use Alpha Bridge with a Savage Glove, and you'll be pretty dangerous with that build, especially with the 4-piece, being that it ignores all weapon talents and whatnot. So yeah, you can do that. But what I think is that Alpha Bridge definitely needs a buff. 6-piece specifically actually. The Tactician is okay now. You don't have to do all this extra stuff to get your 60 stacks. All you have to do is just use one skill at full stacks, and then use another skill at 60 stacks, and then after you use that skill 60 stacks, after you reach 60 stacks, there's going to be a green square that tells you, hey, use me, and if you were to use the one in the green box that's highlighted with a green box or whatever you want to call it, then your stacks is gonna come back to 30, and then you get to build up your stacks again, use that other skill, and just keep on going back and forth, and you'll be done. Let's see what else. Hunter's Faith I don't really use, so I don't really care. Deadeye definitely needs a rework, especially the 6-piece. The 6-piece, instead of a headshot, why not we just do, instead of like headshot damage, because of the fact that you lose headshot bonus in with Deadeye. The fact that you lose a headshot bonus doesn't help a lot. But what I think they should do in with that is to kind of rework it a bit, to where you have to hit body shots in order to, is that you hit body shots in order to get a bonus. And the bonus, it should be a small bonus, like a what? I think for that bonus it should be, at least a 5% damage buff. Yeah, I think a 5% damage buff, and that's it. That's all you get. You don't get nothing else but a 5% damage buff for the 6-piece Deadeye. What else? For Sentry, Sentry is a very underrated build. I don't use Sentry a lot, so I don't really know too much. And with my potato aim, I barely aim for the head, so it's nothing that I worry about. Lastly, for Lone Star is okay. You don't need to do nothing with it. And for D3 is also good. Don't need to do nothing with it. For all the people that are saying, Striker is useless right now, Striker is no longer a good build, you guys can still use the 6-piece. All it is just 4-piece with better stats. You won't be melting, of course you won't be melting a D3 shield as fast as how it used to be, but you'll still be melting it, as well as, Sticky Bomb build. A Sticky Bomb build will definitely put that pupper on the ground. But back to, the Striker topic. Striker is still a viable build, guys, so don't think that just because this patch, this update came out, that Striker is rendered useless, and D3, Pred, Nomad, they're all gonna come out, they're all gonna be the meta. To me, as a as a committed Striker user, as well as other hybrid, as well as other builds as well, but with Striker being my go-to build, I'm going to use Striker. I'm going to keep on using Striker, and I'm going to show people why Striker is still a force to be reckoned with. Because Striker is still a force to be reckoned with. And the reason is because you definitely have to be good at aiming. You cannot miss your shots as much as I do, pretty much. You miss your shots as much as I do, you are guaranteed to lose a gunfight. Guaranteed to lose a gunfight pretty badly. Like me, that's what happened to me, I lose gunfights because of my potato aim, so that's why. But I would recommend that you guys keep your guys Striker builds, and just put it away. I recommend that you guys still keep your Striker builds on hand with you, because Striker is still a viable build. It's still a strong build. It's just that people are thinking that Nomad and Pred and D3 are finally going to be kings, when Striker is still on top of there. Just because they have a buff doesn't mean nothing. Striker will still be at the top of the leaderboard no matter what, because of how many kills Striker has gotten. The kill count is pretty high to me at least, that the kill count is pretty high with Striker compared to the other builds. One thing's for sure is that Striker is still a very, very strong build. See, and if you guys want, this is how I build my Striker too. I build mine with the house. I switched out my I re-rolled the wrong weapon. It's supposed to be this weapon. I was supposed to put Fierce back onto this. Sorry. But I ended up re-rolling my LVOAC, So thus I lost about over half of my Phoenix credits. I got them back luckily from farming. But this is how I build it. I use the house with destructive and deadly. I definitely need a better house. And then this is my lightweight M4 that I use. I use unforgiving, responsive, and competent. This is basically for that raw damage. You know, I don't really care too much for crits with this gun. I don't care for crits, so that's why you don't see me running a crit thing as much as I should be using. And then this is my striker with health, skill haste, ammo capacity, rolled with firearms, and with firearms mods with crit hit chance. This is how I run my. This is my mask. Crit hit chance, stamina. Same thing with my knee pads. Critical hit damage and firearms. I like to run 752. This is exactly how I run it. You guys can go ahead, copy it. I don't care. Same thing with my holster. I forgot to change it to critical hit chance. That's why I don't have high crit hit chance. I was wondering why. Comes to find out that I have health still on there for some odd reason. And then for my gloves, critical hit chance, assault rifle damage, and critical hit damage and stamina. And for my backpack is critical hit damage and ammo capacity. That is how I run my striker build. It still melts pretty darn quick. It still melts pretty quick. People are gonna think that striker doesn't melt that fast. When you guys watch my live streams, and you guys watch me use striker, it still melts. It's still a pretty darn good build. You know, all it is that you just got, nerfed to the point where it's very situational. But at the end of the day, striker is still going to be a good PvP build. You just need to work on that aiming of. You just need to work on your aim a lot. I'm telling you, if you guys work on your aim, man, all of these builds, that are supposedly gonna run the DZ and PvP, they're not gonna know what to do with you because you have a build that was supposed to be nerfed to oblivion, but yet here you are owning servers. And there we go. That's it. But yeah, that's just pretty much my 2 cents in this whole thing. I personally wouldn't mind. I personally don't mind the patch as far as the box, but I am personally kind of upset with the striker. But at the same time, I'm trying to be honest with myself and trying to be real with you guys that they messed up with striker. They shouldn't have done that. Developers obviously aren't gonna listen because they only listen to crybaby people, and I'm going to and if you guys find that offensive of me saying that I don't really give a damn, that's my opinion. If you guys don't like it, then that's too damn bad. Go tell it to somebody who cares. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say in my part of the patch. There's a lot of people that have already done this. Just Save Me in EZTV, Gourmet J, all those big YouTubers, all those big Division YouTubers, they've already done this, so should be nothing new to you guys. This is just me putting my 2 cents in it, but I think that, I really do think that they messed up in terms of the striker. They should have left it how it is, but instead, decrease the amount of healing stacks that we get. Because in actuality, if you have a striker with 50 stacks is pretty much good to go already. But if you add that 100 stacks and 100 stack healings, then you're pretty much destined to rule the DZ. But if you take away half of the striker stacks, healing stacks that is, then you pretty much got an even playing field. You may have DPS, but they may have DPS, but you keep laying your shots on the striker. When he only has 50 stacks of healing, then you're pretty much gonna beat the striker guy. I would say 6-7 out of 10 times. you know, because striker, like I said, you have to have good aim with it. You can't have potato aim like I do. You have to have good aim with striker in order to dominate. But yeah, this is just my 2 cents. This is just my 2 cents of it. You know, if you guys agree with me that they did wrong with the striker build, and instead of, you know, nerfing it to where it becomes a crap build, that they should just, you know, keep it to where instead of 100 stacks, you get 50 stacks of healing. And to be honest, to me as a striker user, 50 stacks is more than enough. Is enough healings for me. You know, of course I got my box and I got my booster and I got my med kit. You know, I can drop all those, you know, and be good to go. So, but I think that the 50 stacks is fair. It's kind of overkill, but I think it's fair. But yeah, this is just my 2 cents in of, you know, the update. You know, I still don't approve of the update, but I'm still not gonna give up on using striker. You know, striker will forever be my go-to build no matter what. I will be using other builds, as you guys know, but most of all, I'll still be using my striker build no matter what. I'll never stop using it. I'll be using other builds, you know, as well as my hybrid builds and, you know, the other builds like Nomad, Predator, Reclaimer, Banshee, and all that. But I don't. But you know, I'm still gonna stay faithful. I'm still gonna use, you know, striker. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, like I said, this is my 2 cents in it, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see y'all later.